So you want to know what the cost of living in West Covina is? Well, you've come to the right video. Now, my name is Matthew Cotto. I'm an eXp realtor, and today I'm going to be sharing with you what it truly costs to live in West Covina. Be sure you stick through the whole video because I will first be giving the information and then explaining what that means for you as a buyer. Now, without further ado, let's get right into the video, starting with West Covina's housing costs compared to both California and the United States. So in West Covina, the average median price of a home is $490,000, which is more than the national median average of $205,000, but it is significantly less than the California average of $814,000. In terms of rent, we see the same pattern, with typical renting costs in West Covina being about $1,600 a month, lower than the California average of $1,700 a month, but again, higher than the national median average of $1,200 a month. But what does that really mean for you as a buyer? Now, getting the obvious out of the way, California is not a cheap state to live in to begin with. But living in West Covina means that you get the opportunity to live in the beautiful SoCal area without having to spend as much as you would on housing as you would in other cities. Now, don't let this fool you into thinking that West Covina is some rundown city, because it's not. This is a beautiful, safe, and super fun city to live in. The money you save on housing costs by living in West Covina as compared to other cities here in the state of California will allow you more flexibility to spend money on other important things like transportation, which is actually my next point. Transportation is a significant component of the cost of living, whether you use public transport or your own car. Now, the EPI estimates that a single person in West Covina, taking into account gas, maintenance, and public transport, spends about $9,500 a year on transportation. This is less than the California average of $10,250 and also less than the national average of $9,670. Now, let me explain to you what these great numbers mean. Now, it's no secret that gas has been rising and it's become a significant impact on people's wallets, especially yours as a buyer, but West Covina has you covered. Transportation in West Covina is cheaper than the national and state average, which is not only incredible, but it means for people who travel or commute daily or far that West Covina is not only a better option to live in than other cities here in California, but will actually help you save money on transportation, whether you use your own car or public transport. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is healthcare costs. Now, whether you're paying for out-of-pocket healthcare costs or you have the most basic level of insurance premiums, it's actually far lower than the average national and statewide costs. For a single adult living in the area, the average yearly healthcare cost is about $3,150 a year, whereas the California average is about $3,700 a year, and the national average is $4,250 a year. But I think it's time for an explanation as to what this means for you as a buyer. So we are starting to see a trend, actually, of West Covina being lower than both the state and national average. Healthcare is very important to have, thus making it even more important for it to be affordable. Again, as a buyer, coming to West Covina means you will save money on healthcare because of our cheaper costs. Now, that means if you get into an accident or something out of control happens, West Covina has you, literally and figuratively, covered. This is just another example of how West Covina's cost of living is super favorable to buyers out there. But let's keep it going with childcare next. So for families with children, childcare can add almost thousands of dollars over the year. So it's very important to budget for this. In West Covina, the average annual childcare for two children, one 4-year-old and one 8-year-old, is about $14,670, which is $200 less than the state average of $14,820. Meanwhile, in the US, the average childcare cost per year is about $15,850. Now, let me break down these incredible numbers for you. So as we can see, the trend of West Covina being cheaper than both the state and national average continues, which just shows how amazing West Covina is for potential buyers. Now, as I said, childcare can add potentially thousands to your annual bill, but West Covina will literally help you save money so you can spend that saved money back on your family. Now, this is also good news for people who want families in the future, as they will save so much money by living here in West Covina that they will be able to provide a much better life for their child due to the affordable childcare costs in West Covina. Now, speaking of family, you all obviously have to eat, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is the food costs in West Covina. So food is obviously another everyday expense that is a significant impact on the cost of living. In West Covina, a single adult spends about $3,450 a year on food, and a family of four spends about $9,950 a year on food. For context, annual food expenses across California and the US respectively are $3,470 and $3,240 for a single adult, and $10,000 and $9,350 for a family of four. Now, let me explain what that means to you. So just like everything else, food and grocery prices have been on the rise, but the fact that West Covina is still lower than the California average is just the cherry on top for buyers coming here. Though we aren't under the national average, we are still not overly over it either, thus indicating a good center ground. Obviously, we don't want our food to be super cheap because it's basically hazardous to eat. We want good quality food, and that is what West Covina provides. So you can rest assured that as a buyer, West Covina will provide you and or your family with good quality food at affordable prices, which is just another bonus on our list. So putting all the things that I've talked about together, the housing, the transportation, the healthcare, the childcare, the food, all of those things would mean for the single adult living in West Covina, the average annual cost would be $42,800 a year, less than the annual cost of living in California for $45,500, and only slightly greater than the national average of $38,400. Again, you have to remember that California isn't too cheap to live in, but that is because of all the amazing and wonderful things in this state. West Covina is like an oasis in the desert because of how amazing the city is and how affordable it is compared to other cities in SoCal, and sometimes even cheaper than the national average to live in. If you're a potential buyer, then thinking about moving to West Covina should excite you, because with all the money you're going to be saving with the cost of living here, you get to splurge on whatever you want after. So if you're ready to pull the trigger on coming here to West Covina, or you simply have a few questions, then let's connect, and I will not only answer all of your questions, but I'll also make sure that your dream of owning a home comes true. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to working with all of you.